Welcome to Dr. Kush's Exotic Drinks. I'm, of course, Dr. Kush, along with my barback Kyle. I'm not a real doctor, but I did spend almost 2 decades running some of LA's best bars. After years of teaching classes and training bartenders, I want to demystify the cocktail world for you. Let's try a few new things as I open up my bar to everybody. Belly up, chat, and let's have a drink. Welcome, everybody, to Dr. Kush's Exotic Drinks. I am Dr. Kush. We are here. We are going to be making a drink tonight. Now, I immediately got this message. The moment I started up I booted up this whole spaceship that I have in front of me. That's I used to have customers in front of me. Now I have a big old spaceship screen from the Low Carb Cocktail Guy. Now, we all know Frank. Frank's a good guy. He's a friend of the channel. We're going to have him on the show as soon as we can. As soon as we get the comm working. He thinks we're making a cherry bounce. Now, we are not making a full-on cherry bounce. A full-on cherry bounce takes months, proper equipment. It will take fresh cherries, which right now, where I live, costs me about $2 a piece. Very expensive for cherries. Plus, we'd have to press our own cherry juice. We'd have to get a hold of some whiskey, maybe a stave or two, maybe a barrel or two. We're not doing that. In fact, Low Carb Cocktail Guy, and I want you to have options. I want to give our good friend Frank some options. If you don't want to watch this episode because we're not making a real cherry bounce, and in fact, we are going to make a cherry bounce-like substance in order to make the fizz part of it, you are free to leave, and I give you complete permission to leave. I will not be upset. However, if you have never had a cherry bounce fizz, I think it's time, because this is one of my favorite drinks, and it also scratches an itch that I have. Hopefully you guys have seen this itch that it scratches. I'll show you some of the itch that it scratches. You notice this? Turns out I don't love Modelo. I don't love the beer Modelo. I like Modelo a lot, but what I like about Modelo is the bottles. Ooh, look at these bottles. They're perfect. They fit right into my fridge, and I am able to repurpose them for many, many things. I do not like to throw things out. If at all possible, I like to reuse things. And let me show you something that never gets used up. These right here are cherries. Some of my, if not my very favorite cocktail garnish. I think I really like Manhattans. I love Manhattans because every Manhattan comes with a cherry. I like cherries. They're delicious. But if you notice in here, there's a lot of preservation stuff. Usually we just throw that out. Not today, my friends. Not with the Cherry Bounce Fizz. Not today. So get ready for that. That's what we're making today. Normally I do that part after I say hi to the people. So let me say hi to the people. We've said hi to the Low Carb Cocktail Guy. Cheers to the Low Carb Cocktail Guy. Bon Bon giving us a quick yippee! A yippee! We are back to being a Monday drinking crew. Everybody but Paul. Paul doesn't drink on Monday. We all know that. Paul doesn't drink on Mondays. Cheers to you, Moose. Moose. How are you, pal? Good morning. Thank you for staying up with us on our late night show. Those late nights really affect me. It seems like it's only an hour, but it really did a number on me. Let me say hello to our good friend, Shiny Panda Baker. Good evening. He says hello to everybody. Bon Bon, there's Moose, there's Kyle. Did he say hi to Amy? Amy, he does. Chilly enough. I guess we're having some weather issues somewhere in the United States, probably back east. I was just there. A little place called Virginia. You ever heard of it? I was just in Western Virginia, not West Virginia. I was in Western Virginia. 2.5 hours it took me to get through TSA in North Carolina. I did something I've never done in my entire life. I missed a flight. Did not care for it. Amy Beer is here, and her mom is there as well from Phoenix. Oh, I know that thin Phoenix blood. I got it. I do not care about being too cold. I do not think that it is brave. Let me speak real quick to Mrs. Amy Beer's mom. I assume your name is Amy Sr. Amy Sr., That's how women name their children, right? Women are completely narcissistic and name their children after themselves. That's how that works, right? Amy Sr., it is not in your best interest to be brave. It is not in your best interest to show off. Amy Beer Sr., if you're watching this, be proud of your Phoenix blood. Everybody says it's a dry heat, so is a bus exhaust. All right? Nobody wants to live in a bus exhaust, and nobody needs to prove that they are any stronger than they are. You stay inside. Stay by a heater. Put the blankets around you. We cannot have another Phoenician freezing to death. It's embarrassing for all of us. So get to it. Wear warmer clothes. Wear the warmest clothes you can. Do not be embarrassed. Low carb cocktail guy is at work. He'll be popping it out. That's great. We'll have you. 33 degrees Fahrenheit. That's not cold. That's not warm enough. That's not warm enough, Espen. We're gonna have to get you somewhere else. That's what the moose is saying right there. Get Espen somewhere else. That is too cold. It was a freezing 81 degrees here. It was intense today. Wow. Happy sober Fizz Monday. Happy that day to you as well, Paul. Let me give you a wow.
Wow.
It is sober Fizz Monday. Paul doesn't drink, but that's okay. Still gonna watch. That's good. Low carb cocktail guy. Still gonna watch. Might not be able to participate. Speaking of participation, let me say hello to Bootopia. What's with the librarian look? Trying to turn you all on by doing that. I wear the glasses so that I can take the glasses off. Do you really want to know? I'll tell you. Do you guys want to hear the story? Oh, I guess that's the end of the thing. I'll tell you the story, why I'm wearing these. On that day that I missed my flight coming out of Charlotte, I woke up early because that's when my flight was. I was trying to come in, and this is crazy. I was trying to come in to be with my wife. It was our anniversary. I was traveling on our anniversary, but I thought I had this figured out. If I was able to take the 7:15 flight from Charlotte, I would get to Los Angeles at 9:30. That gives me plenty of time to come home, maybe take a nap, and we would still have plenty of time to sleep. Well, turns out 2.5 hours at the TSA really threw that whole thing off for me. I've never missed a flight before, but I was also doing a little rushing beforehand, and I put my I usually wear contact lenses, put my contacts in, and I believe I remember putting this contact in. I'm pretty sure I put it in. But about 1 minute later, after that whole thing had happened, I couldn't see out of this eye. Not that I couldn't see, it was just blurry. And I thought, dang, did I not put that contact in? And now I think what happened was that contact slipped and went behind my eye. So it's touch and go over here. It's touch and go over here. I don't know whether I've lost a contact behind my eye. And until we figure out whether I definitely did or if it was too early in the morning for me to remember putting a contact in, we're going to go pretty glasses. We're going to be pretty glasses full. So get ready for that. Mrs. Amy's mom laughed. Good. Mrs. Amy's mom. Perfect. Amy Sr. Okay. Amy Sr. Bundle up. You see, it got 80 degrees here. I got my warm tea on. I'm ready to go. All right, we are getting into this cocktail right now. It's called the Cherry Bounce Fizz. The Cherry Bounce is a very, very real thing. Cherry Bounce was George Washington. We ever heard of him? Have you heard of George Washington? Meet me over here. George Washington was the founder of our country, I think. He was a pretty big dude. He was like 6'1". That's huge for back then. Flaming red hair, the teeth of a horse, literally the teeth of a horse or a donkey. He gave up he was the president for the United States for a while, and then he decided, I'm not going to do that anymore, and nobody else should either. 2 terms, everybody, 2 terms. FDR came around, he said, yeah, 4 terms? Can we do, everybody here, 4 terms? And after that, we said, stop it. 2 terms. That's George Washington. Anyway, he loved this stuff. Now, if you watch this show at all, you know that George Washington just liked to drink. He was a big, fat drinker. Not so fat. He's a big drink. He's a big drinker. Liked to drink, enjoyed drinking, made all kinds of great drinks. But the Cherry Bounce was his favorite. Now, the Cherry Bounce is a liqueur that has been made in the United States since the earlies. The early 18s. Maybe possibly the 17s. It doesn't matter because nobody knows because everybody was drinking. That is the thesis of all of these shows. Nobody knows because everybody was drinking. How you make it? You want to know? I'll tell you. Not afraid. I'll tell you right now. Cherries. cherry juice, whiskey, and then there's one ingredient that everybody forgets about: thyme. Lots and lots of thyme. You need to let that sit. You need to let all of that cherry juice and all those sour cherries get in to the bourbon. Once you've already made the corn bourbon, get in there, and now you have your own liqueur. Because, of course, we all know from watching the show what a liqueur is. Liqueur is a liquor that has been sweetened normally with sugar. Oftentimes, they have other ingredients like creme de cacao. This is a liqueur. It is a white chocolate liqueur. Let's see. Let's find an easy one. Here we go. Here is a peach liqueur. Neutral grain spirit. Often neutral grain spirit. And then it is a peach and sugar. That's how you do it. We just didn't have time. We never have time to make a cherry bounce. We never have time to make a cherry bounce. But that does not mean that we cannot make a cherry bounce fizz, which is a spectacular cocktail. If you've never had one, you are in luck. And one of the ingredients is something you were going to throw out anyway. So basically, this cocktail is free. These right here are, there we go. These right here are Amarena cherries, but you can also use maraschino cherries. What kind of cherries are these? These are Bordeaux cherries. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Look at us over here with all kinds of cherries. What are we, the cherry man? Some kind of cherry fairy? That's what I am over here. I'm some sort of cherry fairy, just delivering cherries all over the place. This cocktail is spectacular, and one of the cocktail ingredients is something that most people just throw away, and that is the leftover cherry juice. Let's see if I have some up here. Yeah, we're gonna reach for it. Oh, there it is. Not this stuff. Do not grab this stuff. That does not count. This is the roses of cherry juice. Don't do it. You gotta have one of these big, thick cherry things, like from Luxardo, or these ones I love so much from Trader Joe's. I love them. Reliving the cherry sandwich episode. It was a long time ago. Kyle Tender asks, why do I have that? Shut up. That's why. I have it because shut up. That's why. Let's get into this cocktail. This is a fizz because we are going to be adding a little bit of that bubbly. Kyle, I need you to bring in some champagne. I need you to find it, and I need you to bring it in, because I don't have it in here. 1 second. Let me see if I put it in here. Oh, Kyle, I found it. Earlier me did the right thing. Put it in the refrigerator. That's what you do, earlier me. Notes to my earlier self. Let's get into it. Guys, these are not complex cocktails so far. We will get into more complex versions of these cocktails, but this is a pretty simple one. We're going to start over here. Obviously, we are... Kyle came in and cleaned the bar the other day, or yesterday, I guess, and did not bring. Kyle, I need a knife. So whenever you get a chance, we're going to start with another ingredient first, and then I'm going to need a knife. Thank you. Okay, let's start over here. This is the cherry bounce. This right here is an Amarena cherry. Now, all we're looking for, let's bring in the juice cam. This is the juice this is the juice we're looking for. Look how thick that is. Oh boy, it looks like a sludge. That's the sludge we want. Cherry juice will not work. Cherry simple syrup will not work. You should, if you are a practicing home bartender, should have somewhere, somehow, a can of, or a jar of cherries with juice that looks like this. This is what we're looking for. We want that sludge. Instead of making a full-on cherry bounce from nothing, we are going to make it we're going to need a jig or two. I might need a jig or two if you get a second. Yeah, I'll take that from you. Thank you. I'll take this. This is my knife for pleasure, not my knife for working. Okay. Anyway, we have our. We're just gonna wait. We're gonna wait for 1 second until. There we go. Here comes the jigger. Appreciate it, pal. You're eating while you're delivering this stuff. That's. Could you eat a cracker or something? Something nice and loud for the camera. Okay. Let's go ahead and grab our. Let's start over. Shall we start over? It's a live show. Not like you can't start over. You guys remember this guy? This guy was. We just saw this guy just moments ago. It's called a lemon. Grab a lemon. Grab a knife. Grab a very lovely global paring knife. We're gonna slice this off. Slice this off. I don't care for this knife as much as I like my bar knife. I like the serrated knives. This is more for slicing chicken guts. Not recently, but anyway. Go ahead and grab your lemon. Squeeze this right through. Give that a big ol' cut. We need 3/4 of an ounce of some lemon juice. Let's measure that out. Why not? Excellent. For me, that's half of a lemon. Go ahead and put in 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice. Put this away. Hide it so that Kyle can't clean it. I appreciate Kyle cleaning the bar. I just, I wish I would have remembered that Kyle did that, so I would have collected all my tools. Next thing we're going to need is basically free. If you run a bar at your house, or even if you just have a bar at your house, or if you have a couple ingredients at your house, I definitely recommend maybe this should be one of them. These are brandied cherries. They do not have to be maraschino cherries. They just need to be a brandied cherry of some sort. Like I said, I have these Bordeaux cherries. I have these Amarena cherries. Find yourself a brandied cherry that you like. Do not fall into the pitfall. I love the Luxardo people. I love the Luxardo people. Maraschino liqueur, possibly my favorite cocktail ingredient. I love them. Do not fall into the trap thinking that there is only one type of brandied cherry. Trader Joe's, these guys right here, have some of the best brandied cherries. They're awesome. $4.99 for this jar. There's as many cherries in this one as there are in a jar of Luxardo Maraschino cherries. Those things are like $25 a jar. All right, don't be fooled thinking that just because you're paying more, it's always better. Sometimes Trader Joe's is just fine. I love Trader Joe's Indian food. Tikka masala from Trader Joe's, yes please. 3/4 of an ounce of some brandy cherried juice, or whatever we're calling this, the brandy cherry substance in which these cherries live, the primordial ooze from whence these cherries come. 3/4 of an ounce of that stuff. Oh, it pours so thick. Oh boy. Make sure you don't drip that all over the place. Bloop. Oh boy. This is exciting. This is the stuff great cocktails are made of. Finding ways to repurpose old stuff. Now, here's the deal. Bootopia says syrup. He was trying to get me to say the word syrup. If I say the word syrup to you, I need you to know we are not talking about making a cherry simple syrup. All right? You can't have it be a cherried simple syrup. Doesn't work. We need it to be the stuff from the jar. Got to stock up at Christmas, right, Kush? Yes. Normally, Trader Joe's only has these Amarenas at Christmas. However, I do want to say, recently I have seen them, and it is not Christmas. So now would be a great time to run to your local Trader Joe's and get some Amarena cherries. We got to sweeten this up even a little bit more. Touch more. Right here. This is simple syrup. This is more to taste than anything else. Whatever you think you need, if you think you need a bit more sweetness, if your Bordeaux cherries are coming off a little drier, yeah, you might need a little bit more simple syrup. If not, you're good. I don't need a ton of simple syrup. The Amarena cherries are very, very sweet. We're going to put in about a 1/4 ounce, anywhere between a 1/4 to a 1/2 ounce of some 1-to-1 simple syrup. There we go. All right. I told you I will order from my Trader Joe's buyer. How do we get one of those? I love a Trader Joe's buyer. Found some TJ cherries a couple months ago. They may have them all year now. That'd be great. Honestly, they're awesome. They're a great product, and Trader Joe's should carry them all year round because cocktails with cherries are perfect for Trader Joe's cherries. Trader Joe's has never given me $1. I've tried desperately to get dollars from Trader Joe's. I love Trader Joe's. It's where my wife and we go on dates to Trader Joe's. We love Trader Joe's. I love it so much. They've never given me $1. So this is a very real thing I'm saying to you. Trader Joe's cherries are as good as any cocktail cherries there are. I highly recommend that you get them. Yes, the UF Mark, our resident gator, picking the stems off is surely worth $20 a jar. Also, who the heck cares about a stem? Just don't eat it. Don't eat the stem. Sometimes the cherry gets too far deep into the thing. You got to pick at it with your little running man. You put your little hands in there. You got to get it out of there. So much better if there's a stem on it. I like the stem. I like the stem. We got to age this baby. Normally, in a cherry bounce, we're going to let this thing sit with either some wood staves, some burnt wood staves, or we're going to let it sit in an aging barrel, thief a little bit as we go through. We don't have that option because we are trying to reuse this cherry juice. Instead, we're going to reach over here and grab some of this. This, whoop, right here, Angostura bitters. I keep doing this for you guys, but it looks just like this, all right? Little Angostura bitters will give us that bitterness, some of those tannins, some of that those polyphenols that we were looking for inside of the wood. They'll give us to us much quicker. Now, would this cocktail be possibly better if you spent 6 months making a cherry bounce? It might be, but you know what? It also might not be. So instead of aging this for forever, grab a little Angostura bitters, turn this right around, and give it 3 dashes. Yes, vanilla. Oh, bonbon. Would vanilla Ango work in this? Vanilla Ango would, and you know what happens? I actually happen to have some vanilla Angostura bitters, courtesy of Bonbon. Bonbon, I didn't want to make everybody jealous by putting it in here. That vanilla Ango is mostly for personal consumption. That is not for everybody. Okay, got to get some whiskey in here. Now, what kind of whiskey would we want? Bourbon for sure. Don't you go getting weird with anything that's not American, all right? If you're not going to put a bourbon in there, then maybe a rye, but we're going to look for a bourbon. I'm going to put in a bourbon that's got a little bit of oomph, a little kick. This is a pretty sweet cocktail. We're going to put in a little bit of this Noah's Mill. Now, this thing comes in at 57.15% alcohol, which I just did this math in my head. It's not written right here. 114.3%. 114.3 proof. It's a heavy bourbon. That is a big, thick thing, we call it. That is, this will, in no lesser terms, this thing will open up a credit card in your name. All right? This will rob you of a couple nights if you decide you're going to go deep into the Noah's Mill basements. But for this, perfect. High proof whiskey, that's what we're looking for. We need 2 ounces of a whiskey. Specifically, we're looking for bourbon, and specifically, we're looking for something at about 100 proof. You want to go a little higher? That's great. Try not to go lower. Wild Turkey 101, a perfect whiskey for this. We want to put in at least 100 proof bourbon whiskey, 2 ounces of that. Okay, we got everything in here that we need before the shake. This is a fizz after all, so because we have decided that we are going to be shaking all of our fizzes, or at least as many fizzes as we can, with our clear ice. Oh, hi. Hey, everybody. It's me, Dr. Kush. Remember? Me. Oh, that's not what we want. Yeah, this is what we want right here. Right here, we're gonna do it with our clear ice. We do unidirectional freezing. Maybe during the fall of Fizz we'll do a dry ice lesson, a clear ice lesson. We're not doing any dry ice. We're gonna go ahead and take our 1 cube, drop that in there. The idea of this, of course, is to not overly water this down. We do have to water it down a touch because the cherry juice that we put in there is right now. If we were doing this, oh, we should have done it. If we had done this, like we probably should have on a show about alcohol, we could have talked about specific gravity and how definitely the cherry juice or the cherry syrup is all the way down here right now. Would have been smart. Didn't think about it. It's all the way down there. So we do need to give this a little water, and we need to give this a little rhythm, right? We want to go back and forth. We want to go up and down. We want to make sure that as this little piece of ice in here touches this back part, we're also flicking it up. We're trying to get all of that cherry syrup, not simple syrup, but cherry brandied syrup. We're trying to get all of that to mix in here, as well as adding a little ice, a little water, and a little bit of chill, so it's cold. How do we do? Oh yeah, look at that. We can look, we can see, there we go. None of that cherry juice still in the bottom. It's all mixed up. Oh, it smells freaking delicious. Kyle says Tammy Dance. Speaking of Tammy Dance, guys, Tammy and I will be together this Friday. YouTube.com/mixed cocktail hour. So join Tammy and I this Friday. YouTube.com/mixed cocktail hour. Same time as this show starts. Go ahead and grab another one that we've been trying to get as a sponsor for forever. Cooks, the world's okayest champagne. Perfect. Let me just say, I know that sounds like I'm making fun of Cooks. I am not. I am not. Cooks is a perfect, perhaps the most perfect champagne for cocktails. Not only is it a California champagne, which already, it's insane. Can't do it. Even people that don't know anything about wine will tell you, champagne has to be from the Champagne region. That's a meme at this point. It's California champagne. It's already breaking the rules. It's also cheap, but it also is fine. And that's all we need for cocktail champagne. It just has to be fine. All right? This is the world's okayest champagne. Cooks. We're going to go ahead and put in 1 ounce. 1 ounce of some champagne. We're going to drop that right into, this is a nice chilly champagne, a nice chilly glass right here. We're going to put in 1 ounce of this guy right here so that it lands there on the bottom. We want those bubbles to make their way up in the drink, which is why we're not putting them in there first. We're not putting the bubbles in, we're not putting the bubbles in last. All right, that's why we are putting them in first. Then we're going to pour out the rest of our cherry bounce. Homemade, quickly cherry bounce. If you have real cherry bounce for some reason, you're a big fan of George Washington, you never leave home without it. You always have your jar of cherry bounce just somewhere fermenting and making friends. Use that. This, instead, quickly made cherry bounce. This is going to be the cherry bounce fizz. Look at that color. Let me just say real quick, look at that wash line. That was awesome. I thought maybe I would run over. I thought maybe my cup would runneth over. My cup ranneth exactly where it endeth. We're gonna grab our big pinchers. So I always forget that I have these. We're gonna grab our big old pinchers. We are going to grab, what should we put on here? Skull. Why not? We're big bad fellas. We're gonna put our, let's go over this one. We're gonna take our cherry. We are going to skewer it with our skull sticker. We're gonna throw that right there, and thus we have it. That is the proper color for a cherry bounce. I don't know how many of you have actually had a cherry bounce. I have had a cherry bounce one time, a real cherry bounce. I'll wash that, Kyle, don't worry. In a place called Santa Barbara, California. A friend of mine, his name was Zach, one of the greatest sommeliers of all time, in my opinion. I didn't know much about it at the time, but he was a super good guy. Now works for, I think, Summerlin Wines. Really good guy, Zach. We had cherry bounces at a little bar, and it was delicious, and they made them real. This, not exactly the same thing, but very, very close. I think this one is beautiful enough that it deserves its time in the sun. Let's give it a spin. There we go. Spin that skull around. That looks amazing. Thank you, Shawnee Panabaker. Good evening to you. Bootopia, man, I love those large coupe glasses. What brand are those? I think you were referring to the fact that it was sitting next to what seemed like a large bottle of champagne. Maybe you were. If not, this brand right here, I will show you the brand. Let me just bring the brand cam down here. This is from Kettle One. Kettle One. If you buy a Kettle One gift pack, they will often come with these glasses. The brand is free. So anytime I see that somebody's giving away free glasses, I do want those. You're very welcome, Bootopia. Yeah, these are not, I would not consider this to be a Marie Antoinette. Let's say that again. We're on the internet. I would not consider this to be a Marie Antoinette. There is no nipple here at the bottom. It's just kind of a larger basin. But very nice nonetheless. Free from Kettle One. As long as you don't mind a little branding, and I've never minded a little branding. Cheers to you guys, to the Cherry Bounce Fizz. We made a little cherry bounce earlier, and now we fizzed it. That might be my new favorite cocktail. It's tough, you know? Sometimes you've been with something for so long. I've been talking how much I love the Hemingway daiquiri. It's simple. The Hemingway daiquiris, I can make one easy. This takes a little bit more time, but it's good. It's freaking delicious. Guys, I'm not kidding you. We are, I literally brought a tear to my eye. This is a spectacular cocktail. The cherry in here is exactly what we need. It's got that lemon, which sort of mellows out that cherry. You can adjust that simple syrup. Honestly, I think this thing nails the sweetness, but if you want to bring it back a touch, you can just drop that simple syrup out. You can put in any kind of whiskey. I'm gonna try this again with some rum. See if we can't make a cherry rum bounce. There's got to be a bouncing bomb barrel, something like that. This is what cocktails are made for. This is exactly what I want a cocktail to taste like. When I go into a new place, this is what I want. If somebody says, I got something and you got to try it, they say, Kush, I know you, buddy. You're going to like this one. They gave me this one, then they would be right. This is a perfect cocktail. I love it. This is in my top 2 cocktails right now. It's going to have to it'll fight it out with the Hemingway daiquiri. We might have to get a bust of George Washington over here for this other one. We'll have to switch this guy out for George Washington. That way we'll have our Hemingway and our Washington. We'll go from there. I don't know what to say. This is a perfect cocktail. Thank you. Apparently, I don't know much of the history of it. But apparently it was created in Los Angeles, California, and actually Hollywood, at what they say is an old mid-century Italian restaurant. There's only really one of those, so I assume that this was created at a place called Musso and Frank's. If you ever get to LA, highly recommend you skip Musso and Frank's. It's not good anymore, but it used to be really good. And if they are still making cocktails like this, maybe stop in for the bar. I love it. It's perfect. This is what we are looking for in the fall of Fizz. It's got a little bit of bubbles to it. I think it's perfect. I'm emotional about it. I love to find. Also, I've made this before, but I love to be reminded of great cocktails. The cherry bounce Fizz. That's what I got for you guys. Remember, we have a weird schedule this week. We are not doing Tiki Tuesday or Thirsty Thursday. Instead, we are doing Absolute Classic Monday, and we are doing Drinker or Stinker on Wednesday, but not Drinker or Stinker. I have just ordered, because we're doing fizzes, it's important that we figure out what exactly it is that we like about stuff. I just ordered some of that Fee Brothers foaming fizz, so that we can do the difference between, we can determine what we like most or what I like most. Whatever you guys are up to, you should try your own stuff. Between egg whites, agua faba, and foaming fizz. Oh, my mom missed my show. And then she booed me for some reason. She gave me the thumbs down. That wasn't my fault. It's all right, Mom. I was just explaining. We're doing classes this week on Mondays and Wednesdays. We're gonna do an egg white substitute battle box. All right. We're gonna get one of those cartons of egg whites. We're gonna do some Fizz Brothers foaming fizz, and we're gonna do some agua faba. We're gonna have a battle box on Wednesday. Everybody loves the battle box. We're gonna see if I can tell the difference between the eggs and the non-eggs and the egg substitutes and the beans and all that stuff, and then we are going to hang out. You guys know how this works. But we will have a show on Saturday. That should be a fun one. And from there, hi Cushies. My mom says hi Cushies. She didn't boo me. She was, I don't think. Don't worry about keeping up, Mom. We got you. You do you. We'll all get there together. That's what I got for you guys. The cherry bounce, highly recommend. I'm saying right now, the same way that I felt like the ankle breaker was the drink of the year of 2023. I feel like this right now is on pace to be the drink of the year 2024. The cherry bounce fizz, a perfect cocktail in my opinion. If you guys try it, let me know. Oh my God, I've been going for 40 minutes. I made one cocktail. The worst bartender ever. Oh my God. Thank God Jen's not drinking because she's going to want a piece of this. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, we say...
My father gave me a small loan of $1 million.
No, we don't always say that. Let's see. What do we always say? We say things like...
Are you Dr. Jinga Janga?
We're going to find Dr. Jinga Janga one of these days, guys. And until then, until Wednesday with our battle box, I will say to you guys...
Bye! Wow! My mistake! I know you are, but what am I? I know you are, but what am I? I know you are, but what am I? Are you Dr. Jinga Janga? Why did you take a picture of the last sucker? No. But that's not what we're talking about. How